Hello. Today I thought we'd play with images a little bit. To be more specific, let's go to MidJourney here. This is what I'm looking at here. And just some of the things you can do. We're not going to go into any kind of tutorial or anything on MidJourney, but for those of us who are not exactly artists, like myself, I think the highest grade I got in art when I was a kid was C, and even that was a stretch. So for all of us who are non-talented, AI brings non-talented to the talented at this point. And so one of the things you can do, jokes aside here, is in MidJourney you can actually create images, and it does a much better job with text, but it doesn't do a perfect job. So you can do something like this. You can just type in a simple prompt. You type in /imagine, which is how all MidJourney prompts start, and you put in something like, we'll say, word thanks exclamation, and we hit enter, and it'll generate something that looks like you will see in a second here. But while it's generating, while we're waiting here, one thing I wanted to bring up is this library that's available online. MidLibrary they call it. So it's at midlibrary.io, and they have a section called sref codes. And sref gives your images a particular look. So they have all kinds of parameters for MidJourney. Sref is one of them. And so if you want to create a look similar to the one shown here, and link to this libraries down below, you can see that it has some really potent possibilities, and they're very, very different in many ways. So the way this works is when you look at something that you like, let's say we want to do something, for example, with this one, I'm going to click on it, and over here it tells you what it is. It's called Vibrant Pop Fusion, and it says copy as ref code. So I just click on it, and basically we're done for now. Now I'm going to jump back into MidJourney. There's our thanks, beautiful. And I'm going to type in the exact same prompt again. So imagine word thanks. And we're going to hit Control V to paste because it copied it. And let's see what it'll create. In the meantime, you can see that, all of these came out just fine. The word thanks is spelled correctly. So it seems to be doing a better job on shorter words than longer words or phrases. If you have a long phrase, it's definitely going to be really screwed up. And you can see some of these look very nice, very useful. Probably this one is my favorite here on the bottom. But these look nice too. I mean, all of them look kind of nice. So you can create a bunch of these words that you might use later on. So in this particular style from this library, it came out looking like this. So if we jump back to the library and let's say we select something like this one and copy sref here, and then jump back and do exactly the same thing. Say imagine word, or you can say phrase. Let's do phrase. Thank you, or hello, or whatever you want to say. And then we're going to hit Control V to give it the sref we just copied, and see what it comes up with. So this is a way to generate text very easily. And in a second here I'll show you what you can do if it doesn't come out exactly perfect, what you can do to fix it. Okay. Okay, it's done. So as you can see, if we blow it up, this says thank you, looks nice and perfectly spelled, definitely usable. This one is also a little different, same concept. And this one is royally screwed up, as you can see, and this one is also kind of screwed up. Okay? So what can you do? Let's say we wanted to use this one on the right because it kind of looks cool, but at the same time, obviously it's unusable the way it's spelled. So if we use the U4 to upscale it and give us a bigger version of it, looks like this. So let's see, what can we do with this? Well, in MidJourney, there's nothing you can do with this, okay? What you can do is you can go to, let me move this out of the way here, and let's bring up ChatGPT. And ChatGPT, we're going to go ahead and select O4 Mini, so it's a little faster. And we're going to drag the image in here. And then we're going to say, please fix the spelling. So it says, thank you, but keep the rest of the image intact and use a similar font. Okay, so let's go ahead and give ChatGPT a task here and see what it does. So this is our initial image here. We started with this, and as it's thinking here, it's going to start generating shortly. And I'm actually showing it to you in real time here, so you get an idea. For those who don't use this, you get an idea how long it takes to generate something like this. And most of the images in ChatGPT generate relatively quickly, not immediately, but as you can see, MidJourney took some time, this is taking some time, but the bottom line is it's still relatively fast. And let's see what it does. So if we look at the image before, you can see that it's making some changes. In other words, it's not exactly like the image above. You can see if you look at the tulip, this tulip is a little bit more properly formed, if you will, compared to this one being more artistic. Okay, so it will always change it somewhat. It's not going to be exactly the same. But as you can see, if you have some kind of orange thing here, and you got it here, you got a couple of green leaves here, you got them here. So it's trying to do whatever it can to be as close to the original as possible. And of course, this can screw up as well. So you can see we got 2 letters N. Try again. Okay, so basically it didn't work the first time. Most of the time it works pretty well. Obviously, as you can see, this time it didn't work. It's got the U fixed pretty well, and it's got this part. It would have been good if it didn't have 2 N's. As for the actual image itself, you know, the original looked like this, and this one looks like this. So, you know, you can argue whether the other one is better because of the artistic part of it. It's not exactly the same, and it's not, I agree. But it's still something that, you know, if it actually spelled it correctly, it would have been definitely an improvement over the original. And so let's see what it comes up with now. One thing I do know is that if you keep generating it over and over, it keeps changing it slightly. And if you make enough generations of exactly the same thing, just tell it to regenerate, 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 then it's going to look like a completely different image, which is kind of interesting that it does that. But you can see that, like, for example, if you look at the tulip, you can see the tulip looks different. You can see that the green leaf here is 1. Over here we had 2. And then here the second one ended up changing from green to something else. We have the rose over here, looks like this. In the original it looks different, and then in the final here it looks like this. And so you can see that we still don't have the spelling correctly. We don't have double N, but we have this extra part here which is unneeded, and U is kind of funky, doesn't really look like U. So this particular example didn't work too well. If we go back to look at some other stuff I've done, like for example here, this is something MidJourney generated, looked like this, which is kind of a, you know, also very artistic looking deal, but misspelled. So when I asked ChatGPT to spell it properly, it did spell it correctly. It did keep similar kind of look, you know, side kind of going diagonal and with not exactly the same font, but it's definitely readable here and stuff. And the actual picture of this character here, it looks different but similar, no question about it. So then what I did is I said, okay, now that you got that done, why don't you make it so he smiles instead of being mad? And so it came up with this image, which kind of has similar attributes. You can still see background is not quite as elaborate as it did before on this one, so definitely different, but he is smiling and it's a similar kind of face, a little bit more prominent. The word, of course, is spelled properly, and so definite improvement without any question. You can use MidJourney with something like ChatGPT's new image capabilities to potentially fix text issues and also create text directly in MidJourney. And if it comes out fine, then you have all these different variants basically you can use to make the look be a certain way. So with Mother's Day coming up, let's go ahead and click on this one. And let's go ahead and try to create another image. And we're going to say, imagine happy phrase Mother's Day. And then we give it the reference code we copied and see what it does. And MidJourney always generates 4 images, so that's a typical thing for it. So you have some variations and some possibilities. As you can see, we have some very kind of festive looking options here. Let's bring it up full size and see which one we like the best. The one down here looks good. This one is spelled Mother's Day correctly. This one Mother's Day. This one is spelled wrong. Okay, so basically we have 3 really good ones. And we have one that's kind of screwed up, so we can try to fix it. Let's just work on number 4 here. So we're gonna do the upscale number 4, so it puts it out as a separate image. Looks like this, and you can see Mother's Day is misspelled. So I'm gonna go ahead and drag it over to ChatGPT here, and I'm gonna say, please keep the image as is, just change Mother's Day text on the bottom. Actually, I'm not saying the bottom right. Text there to be spelled correctly using similar font and color, but make it more prominent somehow. Okay, so now I'm not telling it exactly what to do or where it is. Basically, I'm telling it to find where it says Mother's Day, and I want to change the rest of it to be pretty much the same, so I don't want to change it, and just try to make it more prominent basically. And you know, one way how it can do it, you can make it bigger, definitely one possibility. Another possibility would be to make it using kind of either shadow or some other way, make it bold. I mean, there's different ways to make it so it stands out more, but let's see what it does. And as you can see, I mean, this makes a nice, like a little e-card for Mother's Day that you can send to different people or post it online. And if you send it to your mom, hopefully she'll appreciate it. So again, as we can see, looking at the prior image, you can see it's trying to mimic the look of this image here too. So, it looks different, but similar. And it's trying to get the colors to be somewhat similar, although also a little different. This one is a little more yellowish. These are a little more white, I guess, whitish. But you can see it's still similar kind of vibe. And there we go. See, it put this Mother's Day. Obviously screwed up apostrophes. So we can try it one more time. Didn't spell. No, let me just say you have 2 apostrophes instead of 1. Please try again, spelling it correctly this time. Okay, so basically we're going to try just for the heck of it. I don't know if it'll fix it. It may not. And, depending what you're doing, all these different things make a difference in terms of how well it does. You can see it almost got it perfect, but not quite. And there's always a choice to go into some sort of a image editing program and simply just grab that last apostrophe S and moving it over to the left over the first apostrophe, so it just covers it and then it looks correctly. So it wouldn't be a difficult change at all to do. But obviously it's extra work, which most people don't want to do. So if AI can do it perfectly the first time, that's ideal. So you can just ask it, wait for a few more minutes, and see if it'll do a better job this time. Anyway, this is a little thing I just was playing with and thought I'd share, because a lot of people don't know they can do these kind of things, and clearly you can. And so a combination of using these various programs and now ChatGPT, I believe everybody, even the free plan, has the ability to generate images. So you can use that by itself, but if you do have something like MidJourney, which creates a totally different kinds of images, then you can combine the two to create something slightly different and potentially even fix it. Because one of the things you can do in ChatGPT now, when you create an image, you can then work with it. You can tell it to change colors. You can tell it to change or add text. You can tell it to remove something. You can tell it to a number of different things you can do. So over here, as you can see, it fixed the text. And so if we look at the original image, it looks like this. And basically it looks great except for the text. And now if we go down and take this new one, we can still tell, obviously M that is concealed by a leaf, but it's kind of cool that the way it is. You can still tell it says Mother's Day. And then the rest of it looks kind of similar, not quite as vibrant, but at the same time, it looks very nice. So that's how you can modify things and change it. And if we wanted to, we could say, perhaps you could make it somewhat brighter and more festive. So you can even do stuff like that. Now we're completely going off the reservation here and totally trying to change the way it looks in terms of, we want brighter colors, we want it to be more festive, things like that. And so let's see what it does. But it's a great way to generate just about any imagery you need for anything, whether it's personal, whether it's business, whether it's for kids. You can always take any images that are in color and tell it to regenerate it in black and white, and then kids can use it to color it. That's definitely great use for using it with kids. You can generate all kinds of images if you need to work with kids on any kind of school-related topics. So basically, there's no end to how far you can take this thing. And I find it fascinating because I can create things in minutes that, first of all, I could never create in any amount of time, considering my lack of talent in terms of art and drawing. I appreciate things that look good, so at least I'm happy I'm able to do that, but I can't create them. And so, like I said earlier, AI is a way to get non-talented to become talented all of a sudden. Okay, let's see when it finishes here. And it's obviously debatable whether this is more festive than this, but at the same time you can definitely see it's brighter. Definitely looks like a card. May 4th that is. May the force be with you, as everybody likes to say on this day. And leave any questions or comments below, please. And until next time, I'm Oleg.